Hey everybody, this is Singing Diva, and you're listening to Dino Red and the Shiznit Show.
You are listening to the Red Rock Podcast Network, featuring Pod of Thrones and the Shiznit.
Look, this is for my old heads, young G's, etc. Dino Red said he loves the intellect. Yes, he never hesitates. I can rap whatever, bro. I'm only in first gear, still weighing heavy. Living in the cold world full of that nonsense. Drug heads, teen moms, day-to-day violence. Fiends at the corner, panhandle for bottles. 12-year-olds running around with pistols and hollows. Fuck with my conscience, but still I do. I know right from wrong, but my decisions is stupid. My generation is crazy, and the media proof. Ignorance is bliss, and we is illy influenced. And that's why I'm here. Old soul, kick a brand new flavor in your ear. Rapper of the year.
This is the Red Rock Podcast Network. From Red Rock Studios in Los Angeles, California, this is the Shiznit. Now, put your hands together for the Shiznit.
Welcome back to another episode of the Shiznit Show. I am your boy. I'm your host, Dino Red, and I have with me, as always, my ride or dies, Miss Dejan Monique. She sounds a little chirpy today. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Pip Lilly.
I'm full of pepper. Full of pepper today.
Full of pepper?
All kinds of pepper.
Yeah. Pip is on one today, as I say.
Spicy.
Dejan is en route. She had some family drama this morning that is holding her up, and she will be here forthwith, and she would just get in where she fits in. But in the meantime, it's up to your boys, Pip, Lily, and Dino Red to hold it down.
Mm-hmm. We got it.
Yeah, you know, we are more than capable.
And it wouldn't be the first time we've done a show and then DeJong popped up in the middle.
It would not. It would not, except this time we're expecting her to pop up in the middle, which was very different.
Oh.
Very different. That was a crazy, not so great surprise.
That's actually one of the few times I wish we were recording like a video version of the show. 'Cause
right.
If people could have seen our faces,
yeah,
or even her jumping down the stairs.
Her less than smooth entrance. She tripping over steps and whatever. She kind of fell into the studio.
Well, plus we heard her come in the door.
Well, yeah. I don't know if she knows because we're always down here before her. So I don't know if she's aware that we can tell when people
coming past the
right.
The windows.
Like Laverne and Shirley. Remember they used to have that basement apartment, and they used to always see people's feet coming.
I used to have a basement apartment in Chicago. I hated that thing. It flooded all the fucking time.
Yeah,
that was the worst.
Yeah, just like this. I have a pump system in here and everything.
Not only did it flood, I didn't have feet that walked past. I had a brick building next door.
Oh, so you just
all
staring
my
at
plants
bricks.
died.
Oh, no light.
But I used to get laid all the time there.
Really?
I guess because it had the setting in morning, noon, and night.
Because it was like the sex dungeon.
A sex dungeon. I had a sex dungeon.
Yeah, a sex dungeon. Pip had whips and chains. Yeah, man.
I was like, y'all don't mind if we do it with the windows open. Ain't nobody going to see it.
One of my dreams is that I'll win one of those contests on HGTV, and they'll come make over this basement for free, turn it into a man cave studio, and like stop it from flooding and all that kind of stuff, and you know put up insulation and everything, and wall it off, finish it off. That's one of my dreams.
I always sort of wanted somebody to come in and redo my place, although I'm sort of boarding right now. But I got a boyfriend. That's what he does.
Oh, he does?
Oh, well, sort of. Well, that's not what he does for a living.
But he has those skills.
Yeah, and he can't help but criticize everything I do. This pillow is wrong. You're not thinking the right color scheme. You got to hang this way. Well, it's, and like, so I'm like, I just let him do it because his aesthetic is tight. So,
yeah.
But I give him a little spice, too.
Yeah, this studio is offensive to people. It is. I get all kind of offers of people like, I'll help you paint. I'll help you do it. I'm like, I'm worried about how this thing sounds. Like every now and then we'll do pictures or, video for a minute here and there, but it's not that kind of studio. You know what I mean? So
the comedy duo Frangela are friends of mine, Francis Collier and Angela Shelton. They're long friends of mine. And I was Facebook Live one day while we were doing the podcast. And Francis is like, Just blink, baby, if you need help. I call the police. I don't know where the hell are you, but you just put on your location on your device.
Thought Pip was being held hostage. Don't let them get a shot of Casper's crate over in the background. They really think something bad. Oh my God, they locking Pip up in the crate
With peanut butter.
with peanut butter. Give him a peanut butter jar to lick. Oh my God, poor Pip.
How was your week, man?
Man, you know what? It's. I've been trying not to. I've been trying not to go into too much of it on the show. Not because it's like too personal. Because you know me, I'm pretty much an open book. There are a few things I try to keep private, but for the most part, I'll tell it. But just because I don't think it's entertaining or interesting or whatever, I'm just going through some rough stuff with my health and mental health and everything. But the last couple days have been pretty good. So I don't know. I'll probably be taking some time off from work soon. Knock on wood. But I got to get myself together.
No, good luck with that, man. You got to take care of yourself. You only get the one. They say you might have several lives, but you only get the one body.
Right. That's true.
You only get the one body.
That's true.
So, and you got to keep it to the end.
I tell you what, though, this is something I think is worth saying on the air. There's some. I kind of had like a little bit of a revelation. And it kind of ties into my rant a couple weeks ago. Remember, I was ranting about how whenever there's some kind of social thing or something with the economy or whatever, they always attack the little person.
The consumers have to pay the price.
They attack us on the individual level instead of on the big person level, and they do the same thing with mental health as well. Whenever somebody commit suicide, the first thing they put the onus on each and every one of us.
You reach out
check
to
on your friends and
reach
put
out
it
to
on.
your family.
Not saying that you shouldn't do that,
right?
And not saying that you can't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I never hear is the fucked up stuff that's going on with like the mental health profession. And I found out some things. For example, like so my therapist referred me to, she wants me to see a psychiatrist because she thinks I might need medication, and psychiatrists, they prescribe medication. So I get a list of psychiatrists from my provider, and I kid you not, Pip, I called no less than a dozen psychiatrist offices, right? And some of them, many of them, the ones that were like located conveniently either near my job or my home, I called several times. Of the 13, I got 3 callbacks, and one of the callback was not even actually a psychiatrist. They were a neurologist and on the list by mistake. And they called back to. I thought you were
gonna say didn't take your insurance.
No, well, that was one of the ones that did call back. They didn't take any insurance at the time. They will be taking insurance in a couple of months, but right now they're taking cash only, right? So, okay, so let me rewind a little bit. So not only did I call, I called a whole bunch of them. I only spoke to a live person upon calling maybe once. Like I said, and only 2 of them called me. The rest of them were machines. I left messages saying that I was in need of counseling and I would like an appointment. No one ever called me back. You get a message. They all have the same message saying if this is an emergency, call 911. Right?
Oh my God.
That's funny. That's the second time that's happened where it was an accident. It was right appropriate.
It was right on time.
Yeah, right on time. So, but then they never called. This has been 2 weeks now.
I know. So if
none
you
of
were
them called me back.
suicidal,
right?
You'd be gone.
Right. So maybe I didn't call 911 because I'm not thinking about it right then. But I clearly need help, which is why I called the office. But no one called me back.
And
right?
if you are in need of if you're feeling that you need to go to somebody that need, or even another professional told you need to go to somebody that can prescribe stuff, they don't know what state you're in. You would think that they'd want to let me get you in as soon as possible.
They never even called
like a new doctor.
Back. So it was crazy. And like I said, some of them I called several times. More, I'd say probably a good half a dozen of them I called because it was probably a good 6 of them that were between my office and my home. That were convenient for me that I called several times and not one callback.
I feel you on that. The medical industry, though, is jacked up all across the board, though.
But wait, though. I'm not finished. Then also, I had an occasion where I had to, you know how when you get a new doctor, Like I recently changed my primary care physician for whatever reasons. That's not important. But the thing is, when you go to a new doctor, you have to fill out all that paperwork over again. So I went to a new doctor recently, and I also went to urgent care recently. Okay, and it was a new urgent care, and they do the same thing. It was an urgent care I've never been to, so I also had to fill out all this paperwork. And I never noticed before, but I guess it's probably always been there. But sometimes you don't notice things when it's not pertaining to you. There was a lot of mental health questions. On both. They both have, they have the same standard forms. A little different, but basically the same.
Right.
And I answered the questions truthfully. And basically, the only thing I didn't check was being suicidal. Everything else I checked. Or then some of them had like scores, and I had like high scores and all this stuff, right? Of like needing some help, whatever. Not one person at either place, the new doctor's office, all the nurses and doctors, whatever, that got those there, and all the people at the urgent care, nobody mentioned anything to me about any kind of mental health at all.
Oh, you mean the medical doctor, yeah.
Yeah, because they just take that and they just file it away.
Yeah.
Which is why when you get back there, they ask you all the same shit that's on that paper anyway.
Exactly.
But I hate redundancy like that.
Well,
and
I
it's
think,
like, why?
No, that's not redundant. They do that on purpose. It's not just that they don't read it. It's like part of it is going back to you to making sure that what you put down is really what you want to say. See where you, and I think it's to have a physical, like a mental, like a check-in with you in person to see where this person's head state is at and stuff like that. Like and to hear directly from you in your words what's going on with you. That's all.
Well, I don't believe they read it. That's how I feel. I don't think they read it. I think they take it and they file it away, and they're doing it just to, cover their ass or whatever, but I don't think they look at it.
But those mental health questions and stuff like that, I know especially in the MDs, they use a lot of that just for studies and stuff like that, and they compile a lot of stuff. But you're right, they're not necessarily concerned about you.
No.
It's like, well, then why am I filling it out, giving you free information for your study if you're not going to treat me for it?
Right.
Because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm paying you.
Right.
It's for you to make sure I'm well.
Exactly.
And clearly I think I could be better. And I would like for you to think the same.
Exactly. So
and work on that.
Yeah. So I said all that to say, check on your friends and all that stuff, but mental health professionals, medical professionals, you guys fucking do better.
Step up.
You do better. Step your game up. Read the fucking intake sheets. Call patients back. Don't just think, because I said, if you have a real emergency, call 911 and that's your get out jail free card. Nah, fuck that. You old people will call back.
Again, especially when you're talking about mental health, again, because if people aren't in their mental health, they don't always make the best decisions because they're caught up in their head for whatever reason. So work that out, y'all.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. John still ain't here, so we're going to take this show on the road.
Okay. News and noteworthy. The Shiznit.
So this first story, it's a doozy. It's quite involved. It involves a frame up. Right? There's a lady named Michelle Headley, and she actually did time in jail.
Hadley.
That's what I say. Haley.
You said Headley.
Headley.
That's the singer.
Oh, okay. Yes, Hadley. Yeah, Michelle Hadley. Thank you. Yeah, she actually did time in jail for a crime that she was framed for.
Like that football player we talked about.
Who? Which one?
The one in high school ended up not getting it, and then finally made it to the NFL.
Right. Well, except that one wasn't a frame up. That was just like a lie.
Okay.
But yeah, this one was a little more elaborate, but at the same time, it was elaborate but not sophisticated. So
this woman doesn't end up in the NFL?
No, she doesn't end up in the NFL.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you continue.
So what happens is she basically is on a date, and she said it was actually a pretty good date too. So she's coming home to the end of a lovely evening, and she's greeted by detectives on her street. She lives in Orange County, which people in Southern California know is a suburb of Los Angeles, and a very high rent area.
Conservative, well-to-do. So there was no nightcap for that date.
I don't think so. I don't think he got invited in. But they started asking her questions, and next thing she knows, she's in handcuffs. And basically, this is a story of a controlling, obsessive ex-husband, right? Who happens to be a police officer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. That takes everything to another level. Because had he not been a police officer, he wouldn't have gotten away with as much as he did, because they definitely used that blue wall thing. They definitely protected him. They definitely, did everything in his favor, looked out for him.